Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's I, your t-shirted historian, and I got a package today from Troll Games. So I figured I would give you guys the same enjoyment I'm getting out of opening it and seeing what kind of cool stuff I got. So I'm all alone in this chat at the moment, but I have two viewers. So hello, two viewers. Whoever you guys are watching, I appreciate you. Let's check out what I got. First things first, my handy-dandy butterfly knife is not available. I don't know where it is, but I think the sacks will work pretty good for this. It's made of tool steel, after all. I'm going to try not to shake the camera or give any vibrations and stuff, but if I do, I apologize in advance. Just let me know. Pretty good sized package here. So, you know what? If I open the other side, I will dox myself. So I'm just gonna. Yep, that blade just slides right on through it. One more bit of tape here. Excellent. This is a good weapon. I should say tool. It's a good tool. Hey, Prismatics. How are you doing out there in Norway? And John Burns. Hey, you're looking forward to seeing what I got? All right, man. Well, let's take a look. I'm sure you can hear it being noisily opened, because my microphone is so sensitive. You can hear a mouse fart. Not that I've tried, but gotta tell you, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable every once in a while, because it's like my chair is kind of squeaky, and I feel like if I move in it too much, it'll pick up all the noise. But let's see. Got a sheet of paper on top or something. Looks kind of like a poster. Let me see, and it's a plain white sheet. Hey, Fizz Chozo, you're working on a 5th edition monster called the Cabbageborn. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I did not order this. They included this for free, so yeah. Plain white, kind of glossy. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Steve. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. Okay, top of the box. We got Castles and Crusades, Gods and Legend. At least you could blame any strange noises on the chair. Yeah. I don't know if you can actually hear me fart in this chair or not, but I'm sure you all would let me know if you could. So, once again, beautiful copy. Got a little bit of dust on it or something. Packing foam. Hope you got the CKG. If you don't, yeah, I do have the Castle Keeper's Guide. That Castle Keeper's Guide is wonderful. Here's Gods and Legends. And I like this because it not only has some regular pantheons, but it also has like all the monster pantheons and stuff. And it's a nice paper. And this is by Davis. With contributions by Steven and Jason Vey. I've never met Jason Vey, but I've seen him on Twitter, and he seems like he's a nice guy. So here we have the Anvil of the Gods, Pantheon of Beliefs, Gods and their avatars, characters of divine attributes, and holy symbols. We'll see what that's all about. But here we have all the humanoid pantheons. We have the Gods of Erd, which are, you know, their setting. And we got Dwarf, Elf, Halfling, Gnome. And then we got all the humanoid deities like Bugbears, Gnolls, Goblins, Orcs, Hobgoblins, Lizardmen, Kobolds. Giants, ogres, trolls, dragons, and fae, centaur, merman, sawagan. But then under that we have Celtic, Greek, Egyptian, Germanic, Norse, and Slavic deities. Now, that's pretty cool, man. How often do you actually see Slavic deities being given a spot in a book? I am curious. They've probably got Chernobog and Bielobog in there, but so here we have deities, how to play them, what they're all about. A little bit of artwork over there. This actually doesn't have any background on the deities. This is more about how to use the deities in your game. But if you have the Codex of Erd, it actually has the creation of the world and all the deities and summaries and all that. Oh, and it has, yeah, this is kind of cool how it works with the cleric, how it works with the paladins. Neat stuff. Neat stuff. Holy symbols. Okay. Healing boons. You don't even know of the Slavic deities? Yeah, very few do. Fizz. I know some of them, but I have to confess I'm not really schooled on them that much. So here's our gods of Erd: Val Irakun, Val Ostlich, Val Tulmith. This is kind of cool because it has its own little language kind of built into it. And we have Cortain, the Justice Maker, Slayer of Gods and Shatterer of Worlds. These illustrations are really nice. This is, by the way, this is really shiny paper. Reminds me a little of the Deity and Demigod's Handbook. Yeah, it does, Big Chuck D. And how you doing, Big Chuck D? It's good to see you. I know this god, Frafnog. In the current Castles and Crusades game that I'm running on Thursday nights, I have a little kobold NPC cleric who is running around with the party because they brought no healers. And the kobold cleric actually worships Frafnog. And you can read about it here, but the thing with Frafnog is apparently when, the father, when the great creator of everything in the world came around, Frafnog was kind of hanging around out there all by himself, and the Allfather started speaking the language of creation to this dragon, and the dragon learned the words of creation and therefore became godlike himself. And him going on a rampage is what brought the fear of dragons into all mankind. It's pretty cool. John Burns, you're attempting to read the Codex of Erd again. You like it, but a challenge to read. I like it. It is a big book. I admit I would prefer it if it were, something hardback. It would be more fun to read, because then it would be more like a big giant history book, which it is. But I like it. Mordius Ontool. Oh, this guy looks bad. This is Unklar. This is basically like one of his opposition gods. He's a lawful evil god. It's really neat, this pantheon. Then we have dwarf deities and very Nordic names: Grimmer Skald and Hamunder and such. Which is kind of funny because Erd is very Germanic. Halfer, the Black Axe. Big Chuck D, you know not of Castles and Crusades? Yeah, Castles and Crusades. I've been buying a lot of Troll Lord games, Castles and Crusades stuff, because I'm running it. I really like it. I think it is a very, very suitable upgrade / replacement for 2nd edition D&D or 1st edition D&D. Special note given to the Barbarian class, the monk class, and the ranger class, who all benefited greatly from changes made by this company. Here are the elven deities. Alafarion. I can't say elven names. It's whatever this is. I'm going to have to get Steven to tell me how that's spelled. Osimbri. Talahalalalalalalalala. And there's another one. Nahamiria. Okay, I can kind of get that one over here. Oh, here's one that's very Tolkienish. Islendil. And Asondal. For a minute, I thought that said Asondal, the meme maker. That would have been kind of funny, I think. Nobody's laughing, though, so okay. I won't make that joke anymore. Halfling Deities. Here's a simple Dalmon, Alfred. Does anybody actually play Halflings anymore? I'm just curious. I mean, I have not seen a Halfling run at my table in a very long time. Probably has something to do with the fact that they do inferior damage and nobody wants to be thought of as being inferior when they play the game. Here you have Gnomish deities, and as you can see, gnomes in Aird look very different from halflings. They have a more distinguished look, because a lot of the problems you had with first edition D&D is gnomes just kind of look like shorter, smaller versions of dwarves. Here they kind of look a little bit more like little wild children type things, which actually reminds me of what halflings became from, I want to say, 3rd edition onward. Probably because of influence from Dark Sun and maybe a few other things. You've been playing D&D since 1990. Okay, I've been playing since 1980. I got 10 years on you. Not to mention gnomes have better abilities than halflings. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, so here are the humanoids. These are bipedal creatures of nightmare, beastly monsters possessed of evil designs and motivations. Oh no, we can't have that. Look at automatically evil creatures. Get over it, guys. It's just this guy's universe. He wants to portray these creatures as evil. That's okay. Okay? Sometimes it's good to have bad guys that you can beat on with no, remorse. We have things like Jarga the Bloodless, the Skull Sipper, and Balsab, the Broken Eye, Cracked Skull, the Bone Man. Great names. I love these names. These are memorable names. We have a Bugbear deities over here on this side. We have Null deities like Akkad. This is an interesting pantheon for the Nulls. Nulls in Aird are very, very frightening, according to Stephen. They are completely fanatical to this deity, Akkad. They are absolutely like almost berserk in battle. They don't retreat. They don't care. Their whole thing is just to die and serve Akkad in death. Hey, Calvinoni, gamer since 77. Oh, you got a few years on me there, buddy. You a little bit older than me. But this is an interesting pantheon too, because I'm summarizing. You can actually read it in this book, but this deity begat other deities by a female deity, of course. And at one point, the female was going to betray him along with one of his sons. But one of his other sons warned him of her betrayal, so he killed and basically ate them. And right here you see he wears all the skulls of all the traitorous Null children on one side, and that is the head of his mate, which is still alive in agony on his axe. Now, if that's not like the most metal shit ever, I don't know what is. Does the book have troll deities? Yes, it does. It does have troll deities. I'm getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm just enjoying the Null deity. Yeah, look at. I mean, wow. That's like some scary stuff, man. Gnolls are really something to be feared. Here we have Goblin Deities. This is Urugdul, the Walking Goblin. Their goblins look kind of cute because they have the great big giant eyes. I like that. And here we have Orc Deities. A little harder to see this one. This is Chijangish, the Slate one. Considering that the chief deity is chaotic evil, I think you know how Castles and Crusades feels about orcs. It's kind of like enough said. Sure, somebody will take that out of context and think I'm being racist when in fact I am not. Hobgoblin deities, man, look at that. That's, eesh. You want to get a kiss from that? Techimok. I'm looking forward to reading all this. I'm just giving you guys an advanced preview. Oh man, look at that piece of art. Look at that. This is Vasir, the chief lizard man deity. Pretty awesome. Yeah, Priz, there's a lot of lore in this book. I mean, you could use all these without the benefit of all the lore that pertains specifically to Aird. That is kind of what I'm doing. I'm not specifically running a game set in Aird, but I do reserve the right to co-opt parts of Aird and insert them into my own ongoing campaign, which is, you know, what any good GM should do. And here we have kobold deities. We have Kyrd, the swimming kobold, and Urznak, the trap, the thief. And as you can see, kobolds look a little more, I don't know, lizardy, I guess, than dragony. I tell you what, anything is better than the dog-faced kobolds. I never liked those. Here we have our first giant deity right here. The Rockbreaker, the Dwarf Eater, the Fire Lord. We have our Ogre deity, Unduin, the Stone Thrower. We have... Here's our first troll deity, Barg the Destroyer, the Flayed Giant. And... he looks like he is not to be messed with. What book is this one, Cal? This is Gods and Legends for Castles and Crusades. Yeah, John Burns, I agree with you. The first Fiend Folio was awesome. There were a lot of British authors who were part of that book, and Russ Nicholson illustrated quite a bit of that too, and I'm a big fan of his work. He's a friend of mine up on Facebook. And we actually have dragon deities like Nagendra the Serpent Lord, Kurkala, the Thirsty One, Eater of the Dead. And then we have humanoid pantheons. We have Jogrim, the Dreadful One, the Bonar. I'm probably getting all these names just horribly wrong, and Steven will go back and watch this video, and he'll be like, what? You can hear my dog barking in the background. Somewhere, probably. Oh, wow, look at this one. This is Azuran, the Gift of Heaven, the Lawgiver. Let me see. I'm trying to skim through this. Terrifying to behold, monstrous in size with rippling teardrop scales of blazing light. You know what? Hang on a minute. Let me add something to this. Let me see if we can spice up this production just a little bit. Make it just a little bit more. There we go. Hey, Jonathan Frost. Yeah, shiny paper. Nice quality paper. Yeah, I agree. There we go. Now it sounds more like we're talking about a history book. Welcome, everyone, to Monsters of Castles and Crusades. I'll be your host, T-shirted historian, with this special look at Gods and Legends. We have Fey deities. We have Skadi the Huntress and Willifred the Dying. Oh, we got our centaur deities right here. I love that. We have merman deities. Wow. That... I don't know if you guys can see that illustration really good, but that is a great looking picture. I wish you could see it a little bit more cleanly, but... Is that a deity named Willifred? Yeah, no kidding. Prismatix is proper background music. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Man, we have Svarog and Deities over here. And here we start our Celtics. And they talk about how the Celtic deities could be included or not included. And there is a more complete list of Celtic deities in the Codex Celtarum, which I don't have yet, but I'm planning on getting all those codexes. Not necessarily because I'm wanting to have a lot of games set in, you know, realistic Earth or anything, but I like those cultures, and I think a lot of people do. A lot of people can relate to them because they have roots in them. I mean, let's be honest out there, guys. How many of you guys actually have Celtic roots? You can't see me holding up my hand, but I do actually have a little bit of Scots Gaelic, so just a little bit. Gaulish gods. I love this. It's okay. See, so the Gauls lived in parts of Switzerland, and they were wiped out by the Romans completely. I think this is really cool that they brought they put the Gaulish gods in there. Here's all the Celtic deities like Danona and Belanos and Nodens. If you're familiar with Cthulhu, that's going to sound familiar. Ogmios, Lugos, Maponos. Man, I'm loving this, man. Oh, Brichta is in this, and Brigantia. Wow. This is making me want to go back and read all my history, you know. Andraste, the goddess of victory, is in this. Never see that. Andarta, the bear goddess. Where is Snortopupus? Snortopupus, you need to go back and watch this, because look at, you actually have a goddess you can worship now. That lazy polar bear. Yeah, Bruno. Hey, it's good to see you. TLG produces high-quality books. They do. I will say that about Troll Lord Games. First off, they source locally. Everything is made in America. It's produced right over there in their plant in Arkansas. I think they're in Little Rock. I'm not sure. But yeah, they do everything kind of in-house. They use local sources for everything. It's all made in America, you know. And that's kind of significant if you're American, because it's kind of like most of the companies, Wizards of the Coast, Paizo, you know, you name it, they outsource to China. Very few of them outsource to like Czechoslovakia and stuff like that. But these guys all do it here in the United States, and they still manage to keep the prices nice. Yes, Fizz Chozo, Kobold Press is good. I like them also. Oh, look, here's Epona, the divine horse goddess. I need to use her for something. That kind of sounded dirty. I don't mean it to sound that way. Mulo, the god of mules. Look at this, is all, we're still in the Celtics, guys. We're still in the Celtics. This is all Celtics. Sucellos, the hammer god. I recognize a bunch of these names. Tyrannus, the god over thunder. Man, try putting him in instead of Thor. Ogma, father of the Ogum. Yeah, see here we have the Tuatha de Danann right here. I'm probably saying that wrong. Nuadu, the silver-handed god king. And we have Irish gods like Ain and Aid and Abcan. I don't know if we've got any Gaelic speakers, Irish people out there. I'm probably mispronouncing the shit out of all of these, and I will probably be cursed by a Celtic god for it. But Hey guys, I'm trying. Crom Cruach, the Bent God, which, if I'm not mistaken, is probably something of an inspiration to a certain black-maned barbarian who was written about at a little place about an hour from where I live in Cross Plains, Texas. Lear, God of the Sea. See, already, you know, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody else's books so much, but just the sheer number of deities that you're getting in this book just kind of dwarfs most other books. And it's not a super thick book, you know? And it wasn't super duper horribly expensive either, but it's very good. Elfit, man, there's just, look at it, Mabon. There's tons of Celtic deities. I didn't even know about this. Gwyn ap Nude, Lord of the Tylwyth Teg. I know I'm getting that wrong. Somebody please come help me. Yes, John Burns, they do have nice discounts for veterans, 50% to vets. I think they also do something for teachers too, but I'm not sure. Then we get to the Greek deities. Everybody knows these, right? Zeus, Hephaestus, Apollo, Artemis, Ares, Aphrodite, Dionysus, Hermes. Golly, they just keep going. Hades, Skepolos, Moray, Erinyes, the Furious Ones. Nemesis, Thanatos, Hypnos. Wow. And we have the Egyptian deities. Now this should be really dense. We got most of our major ones here. We got Atum, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys, Horus. Keep in mind, Egyptian deities went through a lot of transitions between all the different pharaohs. And at one point, they were all completely outlawed when Pharaoh Akhenaten took over and tried to bring the rule of the sun Aten as the chief and only god over all of Egypt. That did not work out so good. His son is a bit more famous than him to most people. His name was Tutankhamun. Kemenu, the primordial 8. Wow. Thoth, there's my guy. Amun-Ra, Anuket, and Amunet. I love that Amunet is in this. Oh, got a bot! Got a bot! Got a bot! Gotta go slap that sucker! Somebody report that bot. Let's remove that little sucker. Good job, Thoth. Lady Ma'at should be in there. Thoth, yes, you are in there. I just saw you in there, Thoth. There is Anubis, Anjati, Aani, the ape god, Anuket, Aten, Apep, the snake god. Ma'at should be in here. Babi, Bapef, Bastet, Bat, Bess, Hapi, Hathor. I know her. Not personally, but... My dear friend who passed away from COVID the year before would have enjoyed this greatly. He was a great admirer of Egyptian deities. And one of the things that he left me after he died is the giant book of Egyptian deities. So I'm going to have to go through those and put the lore to the names at some point, because there are a lot of them. And all these gods were not necessarily all in favor at the same time. Wepwawet, for one example, came as a replacement for Bast. Here you go, man. Right here. Ma'at, goddess of truth. Order, old goddess. Province of justice and order. And plain is the Duat. Her sacrifices are libations, food, and objects. Her preferred weapon is the Feather of Truth. I'm not sure how you would use that as a weapon, but this is pretty cool. And this is what's kind of neat. They tell you the missionary for each god, which is what you should be doing as a priest of that god. They give you the ceremonies and what granted abilities these gods will give you at certain levels. And look, how timely. Khonshu, god of the traveling moon, traveling one. If you are a Moon Knight fan, you will recognize that name very quickly. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see that show. I don't know. I don't think it'll be bad. I think, it might be good. Let's just go on. There's so many in here. I'm kind of curious to get to Wepwawet myself. Sekhmet. Okay, the goddess of slaughter, the mighty one. This was also a replacement for Bastet. There were 3 cat goddesses. There was Bastet, Sekhmet, and Wepwawet. Sekhmet was a direct replacement for Bast, and she was a bloody goddess. She was very much a war goddess. Here's Wepwawet, the war god over spirits, opener of the ways. Not a whole lot about her. Oh, ceremonies and granted abilities are the same as Anubis. Yeah, and you see some of these gods and goddesses overlap because, like I said, they were out of favor at certain times in Egypt's history. And over here we have Sobek, the crocodile god. Very cool. I like that. Now we have Germanic deities. Now, this is something I don't know very much about because I haven't actually studied a lot of Germanic deities. I kind of stuck to all your major ones. So these names are totally unfamiliar to me, except where they kind of cross over into Norse, like Frigg. But Frau Hol is, or Holda, okay. I believe that is the word for hell in Germanic. And looking at her province being death, fate, hell, etc. Yeah, I would say I got that translation correct. Wayland Woden. Nice Germanic Saxon pantheon. Yeah, I think so too. Oh, geez, there's another one. Oh, too many bots. You, get out of here. And here we get to our Norse deities, and that is an awesome picture of Odin, I think. The one eye, the traveling hat, and of course, Gungnir, the great spear. And this is Owen Alfor, or Odin Alfhuder. Por, Balder, Njordir, Tyr, Bragi. These are names that I know. Asunur of Askar. These are the Aesir. Like Frigg, Saga. Over here on this other side we have Heimdall, Hoder, Vidar, Vali, Uller, Forseti, and Loki. Good old Loki himself. You know, Thor's not in here yet. Or let me pronounce it as our friends would prefer. Thor. We have Eir, Gefjon, Fula, Freya. I haven't heard of some of these here. I don't know these over here. I do know Freya. I don't know these. These are the Aesir gods. I didn't study them. I imagine the Vanir gods are in here. Oh, what? Thor wasn't in here? Or was he just given a different name? I bet he was. Interesting. No Thor? Really? Maybe I missed him somewhere. It's also possible that the Norse deities could be in the Norse Codex, so maybe that's where they all are. I mean, they have Loki in here. They gotta have Thor somewhere. Maybe I just missed him. Yeah, Jonathan Frost. They're dividing the Aesir and the Vanir into separate pantheons, which they effectively they were, because they were two different peoples, weren't they? Here are our Slavic deities, and I don't know a whole lot about Slavic deities. I know a few of them. I think this is pretty cool. And here it mentions Svarog and Chernobog, which I know these two. And there's another one called Bielobog. Don't ask me what bog means. I'm not Slavic. But here are the gods of light, like Svarog and Dazbog. And wow, check out some of these. I don't know if you can see those. Look at those. Is that Cyrillic? I can't even read it. But that is that's some detail, man. Yeah, I don't know most of these. Be fun to read up on them. And they did release a Slavic codex, so I could probably go back and read those. It's on my to-get list. Jonathan Frost, you're slowly putting together a Slavic-inspired campaign setting. Bog means deity. Okay. Well, Jonathan Frost, I would recommend getting the Codex Slav from Castles and Crusades. It's a nice addition. It's not that expensive either. The only reason I haven't gotten it is because they have a big package of all the different codexes, which is like, the Norse, the Egyptian, the Slavic, the Celtic, etc. And the whole thing is like, I want to say like $140 or so, depending on whether or not they're running a special. So check trolllordgames.com and check them out. Maybe you catch them at a good time. Oh, here's a name I recognize. Kupala, the goddess of light. Preferred weapon spear. Her ceremony is to dance naked under the midsummer moon. We haven't heard of anything like that, have we? Seems to be a lot of deities really enjoy that. Radagast. Tolkien. Professor Tolkien, your stuff is showing. Peklink. Perun. I recognize this guy too, I think. If this is the same one. This is the guy who is basically like the equivalent of Thor in Slavic. Or else he's a war god or something. It's been a while. Like I said, my Slavic lore is not so great. It was not something I studied extensively. Stribog, the god of light and the four winds. Sreka, Sudis. Triglav, Treska. Man, this is cool. Well, there you go. And I think we're actually at the end of the book. Lord Thoth, nice book, needs more art. Illustrate. Yeah, that was Fizz shows that's Drow goddess whose followers dance under the moon in mainline DD. Yeah, it's Illustrate, the silver sword dancer from Forgotten Realms. Although I guess now those are mainline followers, because it used to be that Illustrate's worshippers were hidden in secret, and to be an Illustrate worshipper was to go in defiance of Lolth and the rest of Drow society. Now I guess it's just normal, because, you know, evil drow are the exception, not the rule, because kinder, gentler D&D. I don't know. Do I sound a little bit acerbic? Yeah, I do. Next, I have Castles and Crusades, Quick Threats, and Side Treks. I bought this because I'm running Castles and Crusades, and you never know when players are going to go off the beaten path, as it were. Not that I railroad players. I like to sandbox, but I thought these might be fun, depending on what they are. I haven't actually looked at these. These are written by Davis Chenault, who is like the co-creator. We have Delightful Evening, Devil of... Oh, man, it's using a Screaming Devilkin, and this one's using a Boggart. So these are like little one-page entries that you can drop in. I like that. I like stuff like this. You can almost make them like random encounters. Yeah. Here's a zombie horde. Tavis worms. Wow, look at this. This is a form of goblin. These are tail goblins. You can see they look very tigerish / lynxish. I'm not normally a big fan of goblins, but I would play one of these. And maybe that's just the furry in me coming out, but I'm not really a furry, but I would. So, you know, hey. I don't care. Oh, wow. I had to show you this one here. This is a Hirako Sphinx encounter on the Desolate Mesa. Yeah, Big Chuck D. Does it give you clear level range for encounters? Yes, it does. I think that... Well, I guess... Let me see. Let me look back at the thing. I think it kind of depends. I mean, I don't think it does. But let me see what it says. Well, it doesn't say anything. There's no introduction to this or anything, so it's pretty much, it just starts straight off with adventures. So my guess is you just look at the encounter and, you know, you check the monster itself in the book, and if it's something you think the party can handle, I mean, you know, 5 cockatrices, I wouldn't put that up against a first level party, just saying. Because at 48, 45, 39, 35, and 30 hit points, that's a TPK at level 1, probably level 2, level 3, level 4, they could probably handle it, maybe, depending on how their magic is. And level 5, definitely. You like goblins because they can be very funny? Yeah, they can. Yeah, like, here we have, like, centaurs and 3 ettins. I mean, I just eyeball that encounter and say, yeah, you don't throw that at level 1s, because that party's dead. But they do also have complete list of treasure for everything, special notes, circumstances, etc. I kind of like that. It's actually nicely written. I like stuff like this. Quick shot little encounters. It's not a really thick book. Suggested price on there is $9.99. I think they usually sell a little bit cheaper than that. Trollord game certainly doesn't hold your hand for level range info, which I'm fine with. Gives me something to think about. Yeah, and here's the thing. Balanced encounter design is not really a thing as far as I'm concerned, because I have thrown stuff at parties with all considerations in mind and still ended up with a lopsided encounter one way or the other. So it just kind of comes down to what you think your party can handle, how much of your resources you want them to dedicate to defeating whatever it is, and just their own moxie, I guess, because, you know, let's face it, some adventuring groups are more savvy than others, I guess, is a nice way to put it. I mean, you know, for example, you don't just charge the Gorgon at first level. The fact that you're facing a Gorgon at first level means your GM is pissed at you. We have Guilds and Orders, a reference guide. I got this because I'm running a city campaign. And because the game I'm running is a Thieves Guild game. The characters are all members of Thieves Guild. And eventually they're going to be tasked with building their own guild and setting it up in a new city. And I'm using this as reference. Also, it has a completely built Thieves Guild already in play. So I'm curious to see how this... And this is written by Steven himself, so... Which, if you saw my interview a few months ago... Well, a month, or 2 months ago, I think, yeah. Back in December. Last year? Man, has it been a year already? Yeah. We have examples of guilds. We have orders, like ranger orders. We have scald orders. And what's cool, if you know me, you know I am a fan of titles. I like titles. I think that adds an extra layer of depth to your character. It gives them more depth than, you know, you just walk into town and you say, you know, I am Ronaldo, the bard. Well, now you can say, I am Ronaldo, the troubadour, or the minstrel, or the first bard. And all of a sudden it's like, you know, you watch people's assholes pucker. If you're playing it right. Do I stream my games? No, I don't stream them, unfortunately. Yeah, John Burns, you love the titles too? Yeah, well, this has a lot of them. This has titles for everything. The Green Watch, the Order of the Red Arm, the Left Bank, the Longshanks. Look at this. Who wouldn't want to be called Deerstalker, Pathfinder, Huntsman, Ranger, or Lord of the Order, or Marshal of the Hunt, or Master of the Hunt, or Master of Game, or Marshal of the Realm? I mean, you know, talk about... I'm just gonna put this out there, okay? I've said it many times. I'm gonna say it again. Rangers in Castles and Crusades are really awesome. They play like Aragorn from Tolkien. So if that is your idea of the best ranger, get that book. And maybe get your GM to run Castles and Crusades, or at least something that is, you know, Castles and Crusades compatible. Here we have some thief guilds. I like these because I can just drop them in anywhere. Copper Legion is a guild of guardsmen. Remember Masters of Flowers? Yes, they're going to live on. Yes, John Burns, I do. That is something I'm bringing back to my game, is those titles and their importance in the game. Big Chuck D, do y'all use grid maps with figurines or old style drawing at the map? You know, nobody maps in my group. There are a bunch of old grognards, and that's just beneath them. They've been doing it for too long. And our table is too cluttered to use figures. They don't like using figures, which rankles me to no end, because I love painting miniatures, and I think I do a halfway decent job most of the time. So, you know, my works of art go unappreciated. But that's okay. It's more for me than them anyway. And there we have it. It's another little short book. These are all available on PDF too if you don't like physical media. And if you don't like physical media, why? Physical media is awesome. I know it's harder to transport, it can get torn up, etc., and worn down and everything else, but let's be honest. I mean, you know, it's a book. I love books. Don't you love books? Books love you. Yes, John Burns, there was a top-level assassin. There was the Grandfather of Assassins, which was a title that was originally taken from Alamut, the Eagle's Nest. Let me see. What else do I got here that's... Castles and Crusades. Ah! This will help immensely. This is the GM screen. With all the special edition covers all kind of put back to back to back, which I think is awesome. That is a nice touch. Here's what you get on your screen. Meals, lodging, you get random names, so no more picking through things, you know? You got like about 1 billion names here, so... And family names, too. You can't see them all. There's male, female, and family. I don't want to hear anybody complaining about pronouns or anything, because that's not what this is about. We have combat maneuvers, including cover, ranged combat, situational compact, the impacts of negative hit points, surprise circumstances. I like that. We have adventure here. We have time, which rounds in Castles and Crusades are 10 seconds, which is kind of different. But it kind of makes sense. We have light and how far it extends. This is so important right here. Okay? Because now you know how far does that candle shine? How clear is it? How far can you see the ambient light? Because remember, the monsters can see it too. We have our unarmed combat attacks. We have breaking through surfaces right here. So, like, if you got Mr. Barbarian who is tired of fucking with doors, he wants to break through a wall. Now you can tell him, okay, here's how much hit points that this has and how long it's going to take you to break through it. We have the effects of dangerous liquids like acids and flammables. We have the turning undead charts. We have movement rates and the weather. We have even for dwarf and for human. For horse. We have adjusted to the different types of terrain. So you can see what effect going through these different terrains will have on movement rates. I love this. This is awesome. This is good stuff, guys. We have the underground movement rates, the swimming movement rates, and we have weather if you want to throw random weather at them. This is so awesome. Guys, if you're going to play Castles and Crusades, even if you're not going to play Castles and Crusades, this is kind of worth having just for some of those details if you're running a game, because it's right there at your fingertips. I mean, you know, some of the rules are not going to be 100% compatible, but the movement rates will be useful, if nothing else, because they kind of cross-platform there. Let's see, Bruno says, you magnificent bastard, you got screen. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Covers paying homage to D&D. Covers are amazing, yes. Big Chuck D using grid maps and figures, but too many players began arguing that they were not in line of fire. Yeah, I could see that. I'm so glad that you guys giving engagement and time to my channel, by the way. We have 9 viewers now, and that's cool. I'm so glad. And I'm not done yet. There's more. So much more. So many wonderful things. Okay. I had to get these. These are kind of cool. Who remembers first edition AD&D, the goldenrod colored character sheets that you would get with the character folio? Because I do. And that's what these are. This is the goldenrod colored sheets. And they are by class. So all your pertinent information is already listed if you're running that class. Now, you can run into problems if you are multi-classing, dual-classing, or playing a class that's not represented. Obviously, this is just for the basic classes out of the player's handbook. But still, what's not to like about it? And I should note, these are created by Darlene, who was one of the original artists at TSR way back in the day. In fact, I believe Darlene is the one who created the wizard face TSR logo that so many of us loved, until, of course, the Satanic Panic took hold and forced them to change their logo to the stilting TSR stair-step looking logo that they kept for the longest time. You can get a PDF version. As a matter of fact, John, the character sheets are free on Troll Lord's site. Just run over there, download them. You'll be happy you did. Actually, there's a lot of free downloadables. I'm just gonna... Okay, I know I'm really shilling hard for Castles and Crusades right now, and I apologize if I'm coming off that way. I know I'm supposed to be kind of unbiased and stuff like that, but I really do like this company. Ever since I have subscribed to their newsletter, they have put out a lot of free stuff that you can get through the newsletter. I watch Steven Chenault's Twitch channel because it's fun to interact with him, for one thing. For another thing, they raffle stuff away all the time, or give out big discounts on things, or sometimes they give away just free stuff. Like I got a free copy of the Codex of Erd. Codex of Erd from one of those streams, and totally worth it, dudes. Totally worth it. Here we go with the monk. Now, this is on a pad. Oh, and I should probably show you what the backside looks like. I haven't ripped one of these out yet, obviously, because they're still on their pad. Move out the way, cable. It's pretty sweet, huh? Is the CK screen already on Drive-Thru RPG? I don't know. I haven't checked Drive-Thru RPG. I know you can get it from Troll Lords Games. You can get it either the physical copy or you can get the PDF, or both. Yeah, Crusader's Companion is really good. I need to get that myself. Here's the Monk and Barbarian. It is a Constitution class, because, you know, that's the way Castle and Crusade stuff. Now, I want you to notice something here. How many of you guys remember how sucky the Monk was in first edition? I mean, for the fact that nobody could play them, for one thing. Look at that. No dead levels on the Monk in Castles and Crusade. You get something every single level. And the Castles and Crusade Monk gets a D12 hit points. Yeah, that's right, baby. The Monk in Castles and Crusades will whoop your ass like he was intended to. I never get tired of crowing about that, because I finally feel like there's a company who appreciates monks, and I think monks did not get a lot of love until 3rd edition. And even then they didn't work exactly like they were supposed to, because 3rd edition monks had that problem of, we have the most awesome first level ability, Flurry of Blows, but we can't take more than a 5-foot step and activate it. So we have to wait for an enemy to come to us, or we have to give up an action to go and jump on someone. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. All right, let's see what other goodies I got in the box here, because I got some more. Oh my god, that's a weighty tome. I want to save that for last. Okay, so far, what is the damage of their strikes? I think they start off at D4, D6 or something such. I did not actually check. Sorry, I could pull that information up, but that would pull me away from the stream for a minute. So I'm gonna spitball and say it's a D6. I'm not sure, but you can download a full copy of the rulebook for Castles and Crusades at their website. So if you would like to check it out for yourself, I highly recommend it. There's me shilling again. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, so far we've been looking at Castles and Crusades. We've been looking at all the fantasy stuff, right? So then we have stuff like this. This is not fantasy stuff. T-shirt. Why would you buy this stuff? Well, the weighty tome I was speaking of. Man, I'm not kidding, guys. I mean, look how thick that is. That's one of my finger joints right there, and you can see it goes all the way up to the second joint on my pinky. That's a big, thick book. But this is the Starship Warden. Those of you guys who are familiar with the old Metamorphosis Alpha may be familiar with Doom on the Warden. That was released by Goodman Games not so long ago. This is the Castles and Crusades version. Well, actually, this is the Siege Engine version for Amazing Adventures for Star Siege. Why would I buy this? This has nothing to do with Castles and Crusades, right? It's because Castles and Crusades is fantasy. So why would you need this t-shirt? Well, let me see if I can find it. See, it's a source book for running campaigns using Metamorphosis Alpha, Siege Engine, or almost any other role-playing system. And authored by James M. Ward and Christopher Clark. James Ward himself. Okay. Where is it? Here's the introduction. That's... You know what? I'm in the wrong book. This is the book I needed right here. This is an expansion. Let's see. Oh, some really good art. Look at that, man. Look at that. Tell me that ain't great. That's like totally cyberpunk. I love that. So right here, author's notes. I'll read this out to you really quick. 45 years ago, I was a happy gamer going over to Gary Gygax's house and playing AD&D every Thursday night. In the course of those halcyon times, Gary had allowed me to design Metamorphosis Alpha, the first science fiction role-playing game, and that was doing well, and Gary enjoyed the chance to be a Metamorphosis Alpha player character instead of a DM. One Thursday night, Gary told us ahead of time that we would be playing some of our lower-level flunkies. And that was all right, as often we were lucky to be playtesting Gary's latest module adventure. I hauled out my half-elf thief wizard levels 8 to 9 character, and we were on our way. That's not low level. We adventured into a new section of Gary's Great Dungeon. No, I'm serious, guys. Oh, half-elf thief wizard levels 8 to 9. How many of you guys actually ever play campaigns through that have characters who level from 1 to 9 now? I'm betting not very many. We adventured into a new section of Gary's Great Dungeon. That place was so much fun, and there were always new and magical things to find and avoid. I'm guessing they're talking about Castle Greyhawk or something. This time we discovered a portal to another place. We had all played in the Tomb of Horrors, and so no new hole in the wall was going to kill us. We ran all sorts of tests. We threw stones on ropes in the portal and pulled them out okay. We put in a living plant and a rat. They came back fine. A wizard eye revealed metal walls and chambers. We sent in a character with one wish ring that could send him back if needed. She came back fine. All right, we all entered the portal excited to explore the brand new area. In the middle of the game, Gary asked me, "Jim, did you bring your Metamorphosis Alpha material?" Told him it was in the car. He asked me to go and get it. I brought it in and found Gary not sitting in his usual DM chair in the head of the table. He was sitting in my chair. There was a character sheet in front of him, and he had a huge grin on his face. He ordered me into his chair. That might seem like a simple request, but it wasn't a simple action for me. For years, I had watched and enjoyed Gary sitting in that chair and DMing his grand castle. For me to sit in a chair was a nerve-wracking event. I sat in the chair, and Gary explained that the fantasy group had been transported to the Starship Warden. Oh no! My eyes grew wide. My favorite half-elf Ren was trapped on a world of my own making. For several weeks they adventured with those characters and my half-elf was dragged along. I was tense the entire time as I had to present truly deadly encounters to the group. Several of the characters died in an encounter and we had to use the wish ring to bring them back. If fate and dice rolls hadn't gone my way, I could have easily lost that character to a mutated plant among the least aggressive things that they met. I'm going to skip this part right here. For over 40 years, my half-elf has been trapped on the Warden and trying to survive. Hopefully the players of this game can right that horrific wrong and take Prince Ren back to his woodland kingdom. That's what the adventure Saving Ren is all about. So, go back to the question, T-shirt, why do you have this? Are you planning on running this? Yes! I'm actually going to have something similar. At some point, the players will find an item, artifact, what have you, that will transport them to Starship Warden. So that we can play out in that for a little bit and see how it is. And maybe have adventures where they bounce back and forth between the Starship and the regular world and see how that goes. I'm a big fan of mixing fantasy with my sci-fi and sci-fi with my fantasy. So this is not an alien weird concept for me. This is kind of a natural progression, really. I mean, but I love this material. I got to thank Bruno because he clued me in on Starship Warden. And I had never even seen it before. I thought it was a whole separate role-playing game. And it's like, no, it's not. It's a mega dungeon and a half. I mean, look at that, man. That's a mega dungeon. What are we talking? What are we talking here? Let me look at the page count. Okay. 655 pages. 655 pages in this thing. Guys, I'm not kidding. Let's see. John Burns says, oh, hey, Squeaka. There is a good TLG podcast interviewing Jim Ward. Read this book. Worth listening. Okay, I'll check it out. CBK, hey, it's nice to see you, man. New guy. My group plays way beyond 9th level. The group is 13th to 15th, and one just turned 16th this past weekend. Palladium Fantasy 2nd Edition. I like Palladium. It's very original. It's also the only game, the first game I ever saw where you could actually play a troll. And trolls are badass in Palladium. Jonathan Frost, have you had enough time to see how easily it will transition from C and C? Well, that's a nice thing. See, everything that Troll Lord Games does works with the Siege engine. So it translates just fine with Castles and Crusades. In fact, there are rules already written into this book and the other one that detail what happens when magic characters come to the Starship Warden. And one of the big things is magic is full powered. Like, as in, every spell that is cast on the Starship Warden is a full power spell. So, like, if you get a 6x6 fireball that you're throwing at somebody, it's automatically going to do 36 damage. The maximum possible effect. So, but yeah, it's an impressive book. I don't even know if we can look at the whole thing in here. Oh, Snortapoopus, I'm so glad you're here. Hold on just a minute, folks. I'm glad my lazy bear friend is here. Lazy bear friend, where have you been? I had something for you earlier, and you were not here. So, let me pull it back out for you. Hey, Victor, it's good to see you. You should try Castles and Crusades sometime. So many games, but yes, I know. And yes, John Burns' challenge with Starship Warden is figuring out character levels to use. The creatures are hit dice are all over the place. Yes, it is a dangerous module from what I've seen. Snortopupus. Here we are in Gods and Legends. Let me see. Is it Celtic Deities? I think it's Celtic Deities. It may have been elsewhere, but let me see if I can find it. I gotta find it now. Ah, here we are. Look at right to it. Snortopupus. Look right here. Andarta, the bear goddess. Andarta, old goddess. Her province is bears, strength, victory, and health. Her plane is the mortal world. Her temple are temples, shrines, and groves in Switzerland and southern Gaul. Alignment neutral good. Sacrifices animal and human. Unknown holy day. Unknown superstitions. Preferred weapons. The spear. And her missionary's creed is never tread in the snows where the bear refuses to go. Just no ceremonies and no granted abilities. Yes, bear goddess. Squeaka, I don't know if there is a mouse goddess in here. There probably is. It's a you know. There's a lot of gods and goddesses in here. I'm sure I could find one. But getting back to Warden. So I got this, Saving Wren, which is actually, it's an adventure. And it can stand alone by itself. But yeah, it gives you 17 decks that you can add to the Starship Warden, in which you rescue the Elven Prince Wren. And I don't mind telling you guys this on my YouTube channel because none of my players ever watch my YouTube channel, so pretty safe. Yeah, you have poison and radiation to deal with. You have Spiderlands. You have all of the rules for converting fantasy characters, like they never mutate. Warden itself is meant to be used with Star Siege, as I understand it. Currently, Star Siege does not have a physical copy. They have one for 5th edition, but not for Castles and Crusades Amazing Adventures. But they do have a PDF. I downloaded the PDF. PDF is really good. I've been bugging Steve and asking him, when is the hard copy of this coming? And I think he said sometime in March at the earliest. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, you have all these different crazy encounters on the ship decks. Or thoughts the Star Siege is okay? Oh, Thoth, you were in the Starship Warden Kickstarter? Really? Man, Thoth, you impressed me so much, man. It's like, I'm so glad I got you on my panel, because you know so much about all this stuff, and, you know, I think I'm just learning all of it. And Thoth, if it makes you happy, I will be unboxing something from, what is that guy's name? You know, the guy who does Shadow of the Demon Lord? Yeah, I'll be doing that when it arrives. I don't know when that is. But when I do, I'll invite you and Kringe to talk about it too, I'm sure. The Thief Beast. These are funny. Thief Beast, it's a raccoon person. Half-elf Tree of Gold. There's Elf Prince Wren and his Grow-Org the Dwarf, his buddy. And here we have all the deck expansions to the actual game. I don't want to give away a whole bunch, but some of these are really fun. I like the theme park encounter. Curious to see what my players are going to do when they run into that. Prototype powered armor. Yeah, you bet one of them is going to want that. That's pretty cool, though. Do I have the Dragon's Crucible books? I don't have the Dragon's Crucible books. Yes, Lord Thoth. Schwalb. Yes. Okay, so what is the Starship Warden? The Goya. Okay, it's a separate ship that is independent of the actual Starship Warden. And it says here it's a module designed for 3rd to 4 characters of low to mid-level. Finds a ship in proximity to an ancient ruined deep space starship, which I'm assuming is the Starship Warden, and is designed for use with Star Siege, Solar Burn, and Starship Warden. Solar Burn is basically Star Siege for 5e. I believe you can get that in physical copy, I'm not sure. But as I don't run 5th edition and I have no interest in it, I similarly have no interest in acquiring it. But if you play 5th edition and you want to play with Star Siege, get Solar Burn. There you go. And what might be fun about that is instead of actually appearing on the Warden itself, I thought maybe having the characters show up on this little Goya and taking it over and actually having a spaceship to take them in different adventures where, you know, things are different. And eventually encountering the Starship Warden, which it's actually a big giant floating dungeon in space, as far as I'm concerned. It's a mega dungeon in space. But this is a very complete book. It's got just everything, so you could describe all the systems and all of the areas. It's got drones on board and gun platforms. And look at it, it's got an inventory of all the crap in the armory. Look at this. 12 MG67 rifles, MG72 rifles, PCO1 sniper rifles, Carry M48 particle beam rifles, WTO6 grenade launchers, FDG 9mm pistols, and 8,000 rounds of ammo. An interesting metagame breakdown happens. At least 2 of my players are gun enthusiasts. Fanatics, not quite, but enthusiasts for sure. And an interesting meta-narrative starts to break down when you have gun enthusiasts in a fantasy game who encounter firearms. Their characters suddenly become really, really curious about the firearms and what they can do with them, and before you know it, you have wizards running around with AK-47s and fighters who, you know, want to carry shotguns and stuff like that. And that's okay. That's part of the fun for me. Here are some characters. And that's it. And this is look at that, another affordably priced $9.99 thing. And you can see here, yeah, it's for Star Siege Amazing Adventures. I don't own a copy of Amazing Adventures yet, but I do own, like I said, the PDF for Star Siege. I like it. I like it a lot. When a physical copy becomes available, you can bet your butt I'm going to review it. It would be nice if I could get Steven back on sometime to talk about all this. But, yeah. Let's look through this book a little bit. This is, of course, the main Starship Warden book. Great illustrations. I do have to say, I am curious about getting the DCC, Metamorphosis Alpha Doom on the Warden, just to see what the differences are between that and Starship Warden. Maybe for comparisons, but wow, this is... I mean, jeez. Here are the challenge levels and how you can figure it out. It's got rules pretty much for all of this. Yeah. Here you go. Magic damage. Damage caused by spell effects are applied in the same manner as that caused by melee weapons or natural weapons. The feature only happens when there is a crossover from the magical universe to the science fiction universe of Metamorphosis Alpha. There are several fantasy characters on the Warden that Gary Gygax put there and for which James M. Ward has never forgiven him. Paladins and Holy Warriors. I can't see there being a lot of undead on this thing, but there might be. Got radiation effects. We have weapon classes, plant mutations, and wow. It's just, man. Dudes, there's so much stuff here. So many new monsters and things, too. I mean, I don't know that necessarily I would use this as a... Well, you could use it as a source book. Okay, I mean, imagine this, and this is kind of my idea. I want to put this together with the Goodman Games version of Expedition to Barrier Peaks and just fully inject the sci-fi element into my fantasy game, just to cross it over a little bit. Why? Because, you know, I know what I do good, and pure fantasy is not something I do the best. But crossover stuff I can do. Yeah, I mean, you just got so... Like, I'm skipping sections of this, because it's just... I mean, it's so dense. There's so much here. You wonder if you could get Jim Ward on the show to talk about this? I would love to get Jim Ward on the show to talk about this. I might ask Steven if he's got a... Well, I'm sure he's got a connection to Jim Ward. I'm sure he could introduce us or something. That'd be a really cool idea. I would like to get a lot of the original D&D folks on this show. I would actually like to get a lot of the old Grognard authors and illustrators on to this show. That would be a huge feather in my cap. But I tell you who I really want to get on this show, besides Faderhead, of course. Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston, the original guys behind the Warhammer stuff, Games Workshop, Citadel, all that. Those guys, if I could get those guys on the show, man, that would be a huge bucket list crossed off right there. But we got seafood restaurants, we got Kraken Weed, we got Cryostasis, we got Wolfoids. Yeah, look, see, there it is. There's the Thief Beast. Looks a lot like a certain raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy, doesn't it? Something else I thought about for Starship Warden is saying that this whole giant ship actually broke up into pieces along with Expedition to Barrier Peaks, and basically having scattered levels just buried all throughout the landscape, and players randomly finding these things or tracking the locations to these things and just pulling out treasure troves of magic items and mutations and weirdness. I mean, I don't know. My brain kind of goes in like 15 different directions with stuff like this because I love it. It's just, there's so much possibility here, guys. There's so much possibility. I mean, think about it. It's like, even if all you do is like throw a sticky grenade into your regular game, you know, oh, look, I have this strange little item and it blows up and it does stick. It's like, you know, players are going to wonder, well, where'd that come from? Who had that? Where's that? And want to go find more. If you actually give them a gun, they're really going to want to know where that more of that is. We have actual robots and stuff in here too. We have androids as well, which some of y'all know how I feel about androids, right, Squeaka? Oh gosh. I got these cute little kitten looking things. And red companion androids. Woo! And I notice the first thing it says is anthropomorphic, biologically correct. Well, they got the important stuff right, didn't they? Emergency medical station. Yeah, 1 square is 200 feet. Look at how many squares are in this. Look at this. It's crazy. Crazy. Look, here, I'll write in my book. I'll show you. Just to highlight it. See that? That is 1 square. Look at how big this thing is. This is one area. Cryogenic stasis chamber. Jeez. I mean, this thing is... And then we have all the mutations. Now, who wouldn't want to come out with electrical generation or regeneration? Holo suites. Oh my gosh. How much fun are we going to have with holo suites? You have a game within a game within a game. Rabbit people. Humanoid Rabbit Explorer Party. Yes, you can run into humanoid rabbits. And this was written way before Strixhaven. Or, what was it? The Wild Beyond the Witchlight? Yeah. And these wolf people who are supposed to be kind of Aztec. This kind of looks like a Timothy Truman, but it's Walton. So this is... Yeah, Jason Walton, who is a really good artist. I mean, we're only like 134 pages in, guys. Look at these guys are all wearing Highland gear. And then these are over here Aztecs. Look at all these fun guns and stuff here. Audio cannon? Come on, man. Who wouldn't want the dubstep gun? Wow, wow. And you watch your opponents fry to death? Come on. Come on. You know you want to see it. Pygmy humanoids. Oh my gosh. Wilderness survival, manufacturing, and training. Oh my gosh. We're going to have so much fun with this central elevator. Look how big the elevator is. It's huge. Wolfoid ninjas. Yes, that's right. Hiking and traveling. Look at, I mean, this is crazy. 1 square is 1,000 feet. It's huge. Could like hunting fish all over the ship. Maintenance and repair. Purple ant colonies. Oh, wow. I skipped a whole bunch of pages right there. But look at, yeah, we've got this is the kind of like the Gaulish design of Roman Lorica segmentata. You see the cheek pieces. Robot tigers, a faux dwarven mine. We've got mushroom things. Is it me, or did it seem like a lot of old first edition, early Gygax stuff was all about mushrooms? I think he secretly had like a thing for mushrooms. Let me tell you what, guys. Mushrooms kind of scare me. Yes, Snortopoopus fish. Automated intruder response units. Winged biters. Look at, I mean, you could just steal some of the monsters out of here and attack people with them. Strange wolfoid creatures that have never been seen before have appeared. Guess what? They're coming out of the wreckage of one of the pods from Starship Warden. Black Panther drone. Is this kind of looks like a bear in a suit here, kind of. Or I think it's a rabbit. It's a rabbit in Space Marine armor looking stuff. Because it's rabbit warrens. So don't get excited. Snorty, don't get excited. Look at it's like almost I can't show you enough of this because it's too big. Look at, I'm skipping a big chunk of text here. It's still going. It's still going. So much stuff getting buried under it. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't show you the entire book. I would have to break this entire book down into like many shows showcasing the different parts of this book. Because it's just that big. I mean, like, the only books I have that compare to this size are the world's largest dungeon and the world's largest city. But yeah, if this doesn't give you guys some ideas or some incentive to want to buy this, even if it's just on PDF, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know, I can't really sell this any better than just showing it to you and showing you how cool it is. I'm literally just flipping through it now because they're so big. It's so big. I'm getting towards the end, I think. So much good artwork in here. Snortopoopus hopes there's a good index. Yeah, me too. Don't know if there is one, but I'm pretty sure the PDF is bookmarked. Yeah, we have all the keyed encounter creatures here on quick reference. Equipment found on the Warden. Wow, I mean, they got black powder rifles, they got Gatling lasers, they got slug projectors, and oh my gosh. Triangular swords, twilight grenades. Powered armor. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. No, Snortopoopus, there is not an index on this. You simply just have to use, well, there's an index, there's not a what do you call it, you know, thing in the back of the book that shows you where everything is. Well, there's a table of contents, but there's not an index. Okay. But yeah, it's a giant book. It's, of course, it's a full-on adventure. You could run this campaign for months and months and months, maybe years, and still have plenty of stuff. Plus, you know, you could add on the additional decks and throw 17 more decks onto this thing, as big as it already is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing sci-fi a little bit with my players, despite the fact they're playing fantasy. Hey, Sparky, good to see you. And Dolly Pop, hey, it is so nice to see you on my channel. Thank you for coming by. That is some tasty art. Yes, it is. It is. So yeah, I can recommend this. And if you're getting here late, you know, go back and watch the live, or go back and watch the feed. You'll enjoy it, I think, because I showed off a lot of cool stuff. But it's worth it to me. I like Troll Lord game stuff. And I can use it. All right. Well, let's see. We're an hour and 36 minutes into this. This is actually probably one of my shorter unboxings, because I remember one of them we had like, what, 3 hours? But I think it's a good time to stop. I've shown you guys just about everything that, well, I have shown you everything that I've gotten today, and it's a lot. And yes, Sparky, Troll Lord rocks. They're good people. Yes, they are. They very much are. I like them a lot. John Burns, thank you for being with me. I appreciate you very much, man. Thank you for coming by. I hope you'll join me on my regular Dungeons and Discussion shows. And, of course, Week in Geek, if you like that. You have the PDF. You need to get it printed someday. So why? Don't print the PDF. You know how much that's gonna cost you? Just get the book. I mean, see, they've got it priced at $79.99. I think I got it a little bit cheaper, but not much. About maybe 10% off. So it's not like I got this for a steal. I should say, I know I'm shilling Troll Lords quite a bit here, but they don't send me free copies of nothing. Okay, so I pay for everything. That said, if I bugged Steven, he might actually send me something for free. I don't know. I never tried. I kind of have too much respect for his company, because my feeling is this. If you have friends who make stuff, don't ask for free shit. Buy their shit. Okay? Help your friends out and buy their shit. And that's what I'm doing. I'm buying their stuff. And it's good stuff. And I like it. I believe in it. So. Oh, your girlfriend has access to a high-speed double-sided printer? Wow. Okay, well, I mean, knock yourself out. Yeah, it definitely look good on the shelf. Also, I can recommend it for a doorstop. It'll prop up a table easily, although that would be a crime to use it that way. I don't know what else to say. It's a good book. There's tons of stuff in here. I have tons of ideas, and oh my gosh, it's gonna take me forever to read this book. But thank you all for hanging out with me. And what? Certain RPG devs would hunt me down and beat me if I bought their stuff. They insist on sending me stuff. Wow. Well, whoever you're hooked up with, man, let me know, because I need RPG devs to send me stuff, because it'd make it easier to review. But all right, y'all. Take care. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your week. I don't know when I'll be getting more stuff in. Soon, I think. But definitely do some more unboxings here in the future. Show you guys what kind of stuff is out there. Because, remember, there's more out there than the stuff that Wizards of the Coast wants you to know about. There's more games out there. There's more fun to be had. So don't limit yourself to just 5e. All right, y'all. Take care. And good night.
Look! A Dungeons and Dragons ride! Exercise.